What do you say there, you gooch gulchers? Hey, everybody, Kevin Goatee here, gutting the sacred cow. Time to party. Why is that? Oh, boy, God. We've got Bill Schulz, and what a twist. We also have sitting in Alfred Schulz. Who's that? Bill's brother. Yep, the two of them are going to take down Last Action Hero. You know, the film that thought there was a good idea to release the week after Jurassic Park with Arnold Schwarzenegger and made it PG-13. Sitting next to me in the co-host chair, oh, God, I love this fella. Delvin Cox is right back in the foray. So let's see if Bill can make this a family affair with Alfred and take down Last Action Hero. There's the Saigon whore who bit my nose off. Time to pay the fiddler, whore. Special guest Delvin Cox. Name that film.
I have no fucking clue.
What? Weird.
I can't help you.
Let's go. Hold on.
Yeah, Alfred's got it?
Twist number one of this podcast. We have not one, but two gutters, and they happen to be related. The Schulz brothers, Bill Schulz, you know him many a time without his better half, Joanne Nosachinski, but Alfred Schulz joining the podcast for the first time.
Thanks.
Fellas, welcome. Bienvenue, willkommen, as we say in the fatherland. Alfred seems
You're American. Speak American.
Bill didn't know, which surprised me. Bill bats about he bats about 750 on the quotes, which is about 475 more points than the White Sox had ever aspired about this year. Alfred Schulz, what film is that from?
I believe it's Dirty Work.
I believe you're right.
I've never seen Dirty Work.
I've never seen it either, but I'm impressed regardless. Wow.
Is either that or Murdoch, I'm Coming to Get You. And I said, it's too easy.
Yeah, that was easy.
Kevin Goatee, Delvin Cox.
I actually don't know that one.
You don't know Rambo First Blood Part 2, Alfred Schulz?
Oh, I guess. Because I was thinking Murdoch, A-Team, Murdoch, Airplane. So that's my brain was going that way.
All right. Well, here we go. Gutting the Sacred Cow, the best movie review / movie debate podcast out there where we invite our guests to pick a film they find overrated or hate and trying to convince us to see their argument. But it has to meet one of these criteria. Widely beloved, critically acclaimed, or a financial success. Today, the Schulz brothers have decided to tag team the 1993, worldwide success, Last Action Hero. A budget of $85 million. A box office haul of $50 million US, but 137 worldwide. Translate that into 2023 money. A $177 million budget, a box office haul in the United States, 104.3, but a box office haul around the world, 285.9 million. Wow, what a yeah, but not in this fine country of ours, fellas.
Nope.
No.
IMDb, as you know, boys, well, except Alfred, you guys are veterans. IMDb is a scale 1 through 10 with decimal points. I'm going to go to Delvin Cox first because, Bill, I know you read all this shit. Delvin Cox.
No, I never look those up. I never do. I want to.
Delvin Cox, IMDb, Last Action Hero. Let's hear it.
5.5.
Bill Schulz.
I'm going to go 4.
Alfred Schulz.
It's out of 10.
Yes,
right?
with decimal points.
3.5.
6.4.
Oof.
Rotten Tomatoes, 1 through 100. Critics, Rotten Tomatoes score. Let's go to Alfred Schulz first.
See, I think I did see this.
All right, recuse yourself if you did.
Go for it, yeah.
Bill Schulz. Bill Schulz.
60%.
Delvin Cox.
34.
38% critics score.
Really?
They
hated this movie.
lambasted this film.
Yeah.
I remember when this movie came out.
Oh,
I do too.
And how critics despised this movie.
Yeah. Audience Rotten Tomatoes score. Bill Schulz first.
I'm going to go 60 again.
Alfred Schulz. Do you know this number?
No, I didn't see this one. I'm going to guess 55.
Delvin Cox.
47.
47 on the nose.
Oh!
Someone gets both showcases.
I never get any of these.
Quotes, there is an absolute plethora, so I'm just going to limit myself to a few 25. No. I'll be back. You always say that. People wait for you to say that. This one is off the beaten path, and it made me chuckle out loud. Crack House, what do you want? Guys throwing cocaine at each other?
That was a good one.
And of course, the cheekiest of action movie cliches. You want to be a farmer? Here are a couple of acres.
I'll tell you what. I was watching it again this weekend with Alfred. I never got that. Alfred
Really?
explained to me that joke. Yes, yeah.
It takes a second.
Wow. I've now lost.
It was a stretch for me. Yeah.
How do you go from zero respect to less than zero respect, Bill Schulz? Well, we just found out.
Just gave it to him. Just gave it to him. Yeah.
I'm going to go to Alfred Schulz. Quotes that jumped out at you, sir.
Oh, so my one of my favorite quotes is, and remember, don't plug the restaurants. I just hate it when you plug the restaurants or the
That's
gyms.
good.
It's so tacky. That's my
great.
quote.
Let's go to Bill Schulz, his brother.
If God was a villain, he'd be me.
That's a good one. I had that one.
Great one. That's a great
Yeah.
one.
Line reading
this is a good
so though compared to the original. So
Delvin Cox, you got one for me? I know you do.
Oh, I have a bunch.
I know you do.
Let's see. To be or not to be. Not to be.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I thought that was too obvious, so I let that one slide.
Yeah, I have more.
I know.
Ice that guy to
Cone
cone
a
a phrase.
I had the Burger King souvenir cup with that scene
Yep.
on there.
I had
Oh,
the one
yeah.
with the Jeep coming through to the build, like coming through the house.
Yep.
There was one and animated. If you
Yep.
like moved it side to side, it animated.
Yep, exactly right, Alfred. Right, Delvin. What else?
Let's see if I can do this one like the movie did. Slater!
And no cultural appropriation here, fellas, because my friend is black.
He's
Any
talking
more,
about
Delvin?
me, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, Delvin, any more? Or is that all?
I'll give you one more because this one
Please.
just made me laugh because it was just so out of whack the way it happened. The clear crack whore just comes up. Want to have a party? Like, what am I watching?
5 fun facts.
Wait, can I
Go
give
ahead,
you
Bill.
one more?
Of course
You
you
guys
can,
missed
Bill.
the obvious. Kid, what do doctors treat? Patience.
Patience.
What's happening? What's happening with the elbow parts of my jacket?
He said it a little
Very
better.
thin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a little better. And then
You-
the kid was like, "Wow, that was a stretch. That
You
was
said-
a stretch."
You sound more like Arnold's maid than Arnold.
So I'm actually getting back at it by Arnold right now and making a beautiful Mexican Austrian kid.
Good job.
Did you
Congratulations.
say? Oh, Mexican. It's a Mexican ostrich. Like he does look like an ostrich. That's funny.
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it looks exactly like Arnold.
5 fun facts. When this movie was greenlit, do you know how many months they had to prepare for just to get everything done? How many months did they have from green light to release date, which was June 18th of 93? How many months?
6 months.
6 says Bill,
Yeah,
6 says
that-
Delvin. Alfred, when
I'd
you
say
get through, I guess.
5.
How about 1 full pregnancy? 9 months.
All right.
Oh.
AC/DC is in this movie. Why? Because Arnold Schwarzenegger asked them nicely.
Huh?
The
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. He's got a lot of pull because obviously he pulls a lot of those friends of his to pop in that as cameos throughout.
Yes.
Also, like
Just
he was
rewatch-
so, after T2, it was like Guns N' Roses and like that heavy metal world he was like so attached to. But part of and we can get into this later, but like part of the downfall of the success of this movie was like, I think partly because like in 1993, edging on 94, people weren't caring that much about Megadeth or AC/DC like they might have 5 years prior. If he'd gone the Pearl Jam route, maybe things would be a little bit better for him, or Soundgarden. There's one Alice in Chains song, but the rest is kind of old fashioned.
Yeah, I think Queensryche is actually
Queensryche,
in,
exactly.
Yeah, is in
Oh,
the
and Def
soundtrack.
Leppard.
Yeah.
Like you're
Def
too late,
Leppard,
Arnold.
yes. Yeah.
And a live
Yeah, 93.
version of Dream On by Aerosmith as the credits said, if you caught
There you
that.
go.
Yeah.
The original title of this film was called Extremely Violent, and the main character's name, Arno Slater. And the only thing left over from the original script was the Hamlet scene.
Really?
Really?
Huh.
It's the only thing that held over. Shane Black, by the way. There was a ton of writers, and Carrie Fisher contributed to the rewrite. Oh, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shocked for that one. Alan Rickman was approached to be Benedict. He demanded a ton of money because he did not want to be typecast. So that's why they got Charles Dance, who showed up day one for shooting wearing a shirt that read, "I'm cheaper than Alan Rickman."
I love this guy even more.
Yeah.
That's great.
He's such an underrated bad guy. I mean, I guess he was in Game of Thrones. I never seen him since Last Action Hero.
Yeah, he actually,
Alien
I love
3.
Alan Rickman.
Alien 3. By the way, he's in that.
Okay.
Rewatch
That's
that
right.
recently.
So
It's
good in
not
Last Action Hero.
Yeah. Oh,
He's
100%.
the best. He eats up the camera.
Yeah.
Want to take a stab on who else was considered for the role of Benedict? I'll give you two guesses. There are two people. One of them is a complete douche in a major '80s action film. The other one,
Oh, that narrows it down.
William Zabka.
that'd be great.
That would be great.
And the other guy was pretty well known in the '70s, '80s. Real mega hit in the '70s. Real cult classic, and a few other '80s ones, and also a TV movie he did that was world renowned. You may get the first one. The second one, I'd be shocked if you got.
TV movie. All I think about is Billy D. Williams and Brian Song.
No.
Like, what made for TV movie does anyone really care about besides that?
Yeah.
Well, the
Oh,
answer
Roots.
to that one is it, and that person being Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, that would have been. I can see that.
Yeah.
What
Apparently, Tim Curry was up for Nicholson's part, Joker,
Yeah.
but like they were never going to give it.
Are you serious? I had no idea.
He
Wow.
was like
Oh,
bait,
yeah.
I think.
Wow.
Oh,
Tim Curry would have been a great
Nicholson
Joker.
Sign. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, he totally would have.
I don't
He
think
was
so.
also
I
the
think
first
so.
choice. He also did the voice as the Joker initially for the Batman the Animated Series, and then for some reason they weren't feeling it, and then Mark Hamill did it.
Hamill,
Who
and
knows?
then he rewrote history.
I don't like. Yeah, I think Curry would have been better.
Well, you can hear him, and he sounds exactly like Hamill. If you can go online and hear it,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
the exact same thing. I don't know why they fired him.
The other character being William Atherton of Die Hard fame and Biodome.
Wait, William Atherton.
He's a news reporter who goes to his house.
Oh,
And says, "Hey, should I
Okay.
call INS?"
Oh yeah.
Heck in Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, also that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
Do you boys
Oh,
want
of
to
course.
take,
Yeah.
you want to take a stab on who was considered for the role that Austin O'Brien got? Two of them. One was an absolute megastar in the '90s. The other one hit his stride more in the 2000s, big time in the 2000s.
Macaulay Culkin.
I'm guessing Elijah Wood.
There, you both got him right. That's it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I swear I didn't look it up. Just guess.
Look at you two brothers with your goofball telepathy. How cute. Macaulay Culkin said he couldn't because he was busy making The Good Son and The Nutcracker, two very different films.
And
The
Elijah Wood probably had the same
Nutcracker!
excuse.
I
Yeah.
forgot about the Nutcracker. Oh my god.
How about the
Father.
page?
A lot of people did.
Yeah, I did too. And the Page Master as well. That was another one that time forgot. And another video game I'm surprised Schultz didn't buy. Bill, I should say.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Richie Rich. I remember Macaulay being in that. If that was a video game, I would have played it and won it.
By the way, I should have, in preparation for this podcast, played the last Action Hero video game on Super Nintendo that I have on my hacked Super NES.
Of course, it's a video game.
The studio bought
It's a Nintendo game.
The studio bought advertising space in a NASA shuttle that was supposed to launch in May, but didn't because of technical issues. It didn't launch until after the film was released and bombed. Fun fact, Kevin Goatee went to see this film opening weekend. He did the double dip. What was the first film he saw? Cliffhanger, and then snuck in to see this.
I'm sorry.
Because Jurassic Park. Cliffhanger's great.
Yeah, Jurassic Park hadn't come out yet. Cliffhanger.
No, it did. No. Jurassic Park was out 1 week, which is why this bombed.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Let's go and get the fans in on the fun, as we love to ask.
There were good questions.
Listen, this crowd does not miss. Gutter.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. They called this a movie podcast, TCTAM pod. If you were listing the greatest one-liners in action movie history, how many in the top 10 would be from Arnold?
I'll say 3.
Schultz's?
You know, I don't know how many.
I'll let Alfred go because I already replied to him. Because
you did? I didn't catch
go
your
ahead.
reply.
Yeah.
I don't know, but one thing I got me thinking, because I saw the question, I didn't see Bill's reply, but I saw that and I started thinking, you know, who's like underrated on this that you got to remember is Wesley Snipes. For some reason had a ton in Demolition Man, Passenger 57. All like he had way more than you realized.
Always Bet on Black is on there. Definitely.
Yeah.
And basically every single thing he says in Demolition Man is some dumb pun or something like that. Like his entire dialogue is that.
Yeah.
Major League.
Yeah, I guess
don't
Arnold has to
one.
have 3 or 4.
Without, I mean, I could sit here and rip out 75 from Commando, and that's just one. But I mean,
well, that's the thing. He has so many too. Schwarzenegger that like they're almost not memorable except for "I'll be back" and
I'll be back. Get to the chopper.
Get to the
Hasta
chopper.
La Vista, Hasta La Vista, baby.
Yeah.
And that, yes.
Those are the 3.
Yeah, where is Buzzsaw? Oh, he had to split. I mean, The Running Man also has a shitload of those.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If this movie was a hit, you guys would be saying "big mistake" as well.
Very true.
That would have been his new catchphrase. But here's the thing: they're all awful. They are all 3rd grade level half sentences. And the only reason that these things are known in our pop culture zeitgeist, as much as that's for you, Kevin Israel, the zeitgeist word, is because it's charming when you hear it in an Austrian accent. That's it. That's really it. I'll be back. Are you kidding me? That was a throwaway line that James Cameron never thought. It was just lying. And then people would come up to Arnold after the movie and be like, "Can you say I'll be back?" Like that. They didn't plan for that. Like they're all dumb. And it's Arnold's way of saying it that kind of makes it fun, which I'm fully for, but none of them are great lines. They're all shitty. They're all shitty lines. Yeah, terrible.
At So Wizard Podcast, do you not give Last Action Hero any leeway for at least trying something different and for having a pretty badass soundtrack?
Well, so all right, Alfred and I are in a very difficult position here.
I mean, do you give it leeway? Yeah.
Well, you have given us certain rules
I know.
Yeah.
So we'll say that. Delvin, how do you answer that question?
I don't want to answer it due to it may play my hand.
That's fair. All right.
I like
to be paused. Next at Rex Crumb, as if Arnold wasn't playing Meta Arnold enough. Last Action Hero is F. Murray Abraham, who is in the Hall of Fame actors who make everything they are in better. The Schulz brothers need to stand down.
Really?
So noted.
Well, again, I don't know how to reply to that either.
I know.
Kev.
By the way, is there any better name that you think you're telling someone to piss off than F. Murray Abraham?
Yeah. By the way, when Alfred and I were watching it, the other thing I forgot, which was so clever or cute, maybe that's a better word, is I forgot that Jack Slater thought his name was Mozart.
Yeah.
Not Mozart. What is that? Yeah. That was great. It was wonderful.
He won 8 Oscars. That should have another quote, too. At Ken Bjorn Turner, at Bjorn the Viking. This one I have in my notes. If you got the golden ticket, what movie would you jump in? Okay, now that you all said porn.
Great question.
Now that you all said porn, what is the second movie you would jump in? I'm going to go to Delvin Cox. Delvin Cox, you lead off this one here, buddy.
This is a hard question because I like a lot of action movies.
Right.
And I'll think, like, if I jump into one of those movies, I'll probably die.
Stray bullet.
Right. That's why I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
I was hoping, Delvin, you did not say a horror film because your people don't have a very long track record in horror films.
Exactly.
And by that I mean homosexuals. So just to clarify that.
No, I knew where you were going with
that. Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna say Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah. The end of it, the whole final battle, because it's just such a fucking
seems stressful to be inside that world.
But like,
I know what's gonna happen. So I just get my popcorn and watch it.
You just want to sit next to Captain America. You just want to sit next to Captain America and say, "On your left."
Goddamn right.
I say.
I did get chills on that scene.
That is great.
I got chills.
Let's go to Alfred. What film would you jump in?
somebody asked me this not that long ago, like is like a dumb sort of like work group building thing, and like people said things like the MCU, and I was just like, well, no, that's so stressful. So like, I think you want to be in a movie that you want to like live in that's super comfortable. I'm innately a super lazy person, so it's got to be a Nancy Meyers movie. It's got to be, it's complicated or something's got to give, where I'm just relaxing in either Santa Barbara or the Hamptons and just be like, wait, what's going on? Oh, sorry, Meryl, back to TV, or I'm gonna go
Meryl.
to the beach. That's where I want to live. So I like, oh, I'm sorry, Diane Keaton, about Jack Nicholson. I'm gonna go walk around the beach.
I gotta tell you,
it's got to be low stakes.
Bill?
I can't show up in those movies because the cops will be calling me immediately.
Oh boy!
I pretend to like you so much though in public.
Soon as I show up.
I don't see any problem with that one. Bill Schulz, what do you have?
All right, now hear me out on this.
No.
I think one of my all-time favorites would be Jaws. And you'd say to yourself, Bill, why would you want to be in Jaws?
High stress.
No, I'd say, Bill, why would you watch Jaws?
Oh, by the way, Bill, hold on, guys. Hold on one second. Delvin Cox says the lone distinction of coming on this podcast and trying, I underscore trying 4 times, trying to disassemble that cinematic masterpiece.
I hate that movie.
And let me just tell you, he ate a bag of dicks and had so much hate.
I know. By the way, Delvin, I know you did, and I was so furious. No offense, I did not listen to it. Like, I'm like, I told Kev told me it. I'm like, he's being a contrarian. He is just trying to poke all the bears, and I don't believe that he believes it. And I knew I was gonna be so angry I didn't listen.
Oh, Kevin, tell you, I believe it. I 100% believe it.
It's a perfect film, you asshole. Okay.
No,
the reason I choose Jaws is because in 1975 or 74 when they filmed it, Martha's Vineyard looked delightful. What I would do was just not go in the water, and I don't like people, so I'd be on the beautiful beach and watch people die.
Well,
and that sounds like a lovely summer.
I know you're going. I know you're going, Delvin. So go ahead.
If you go to that ugly ass beach, you will be the handsomest person there. Because there was a bunch of ugly motherfuckers on that beach.
That works. I'll take that. Yeah.
In the land of the
Brody's wife has got it going on, I think, a bit.
Yeah. I think it was one of the last movies that showed a topless 80-year-old man with man boobs that was skinny. In the overall.
Someone hasn't seen Waking Ned Devine.
Or just wait for another 40 years for the Schultz family movies to see Bill topless at the parents' pool zipping around, and we'll see.
You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait. Oh, it's already happening. Yeah, it's already happening.
I wouldn't be called skinny, so I got him beat. But yeah.
All right, listen. The obvious is I had the ticket. I have 3. My answers are very easy. We all know Bill Schultz would be in any bukkake film which covers him in male cake batter.
How do we all know that?
Oh, it's obvious.
How is that a thing that we all know?
Please write in, folks, listeners, heard if you disagree with that. The answers are obvious. Wild Things, one of them. And
very stressful, though.
What do you mean? If I'm in the pool with Denise Richards and Nev Campbell, the only stress I have is how fast can I get my dick to pop back up after finishing one of them off?
So disagree, because it's a double cross. It's a double cross on a double cross on a double cross. I'm dumb. I would have gotten double crossed early.
Yet again,
Wild Thing.
Another movie I can't be in.
No sex. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's worth going out with the bang. Waka. And about
cops will also be called.
How about Fast Times at Ridgemont High? If only thing else, just to hang out with Judge Reinhold at the fast food place. Obviously, Phoebe Cates, and let's watch Forrest Whitaker run roughshod and drive a car into a fucking whatever it was. Oh, in the mall.
I hate that answer too, because that movie shows the awkwardness and kind of horribleness of high school.
Yeah,
I think that's a bad answer.
I don't want to go back to high school.
I love the movie, but I would not want to be at that high school.
I'm shallow. What? I'm looking for a smoke show women I can try and have sex with. Like I said, I'm very shallow. That's my goal.
I'd probably be okay in that movie. They'll probably look at me like the cool teacher, the cool black teacher. So I'll be fine with them.
Forrest Whitaker's first part, so it wasn't all white. Yeah.
I'll throw
get called on me.
I'll throw American Pie out there. I'll take my chances with Shannon Elizabeth and Tara Reid in their prime.
Yeah,
I get that fun to look at, but you're still in the awkwardness of high school.
But I get to hang out with Stifler, and I've been told many a time that we have the same stupid personality, so I would be 2 peas in a pod.
And hair.
Fair. Dickish, but fair. Next question. Mike WFO Dix. This is a guy new to the Ask a Gutter. Does Delvin Cox have a large collection of physical media, or has he embraced the digital age? Also, is Delvin Cox put off by the amount?
You should ask that to Alfred.
Yeah, I will jump in on that too. And also, is Delvin Cox put off by the amount of smoking in this film? Does it send a bad message to children? It's a lot to unpack.
Okay, let's start with the first question first.
Please.
Yes, I have a lot of physical media.
I do too, and I am unashamed to say that.
I may have 500, at least 500 DVDs and Blu-rays. At least.
Alfred,
I'm close to that.
I feel like you're in that. Alfred, I feel like Alfred's in that category.
I don't. I haven't counted in a while. I have no idea.
Well, look behind
that's them behind me.
Gentlemen, look behind you.
I like DVDs. Yeah, I'm a fan. So
I still have some VHS tapes that I did not give my parents yet because I still haven't gotten them on either Blu-ray or digital yet.
Yeah, a lot of stuff isn't on Blu-ray, or digital, so I have to buy it on DVD.
I also
old cartoons.
I also have a lot of sporting stuff on VHS, a la the 94 Rangers winning the Cup, and of course the 1996 Yankees winning World Series game, something I'll have to explain to you White Sox fans what it's like winning multiple of. So,
speaking of White Sox, to this day, Alfred gives me crap for getting rid of our VHS copy of Gene Shepard, the writer and voiceover artist of A Christmas Story. That, by the way,
worst films ever made. That film should burn in hell.
He was the host. He was the host of the overall history of the White Sox, and it was a VHS copy. I gave it to Goodwill, and Alfred has never forgiven me for that.
What's more depressing, the White Sox history or watching Good Christmas Story? I really think that Christmas Story is more depressing. Thank you.
Well, one's a classic, and one else is definitely a tragedy. Yeah.
At Teresa SFAS. From a scale from a lot to a gift from God, how much better would Last Action Hero be if Delvin Cox starred in a remake? Wow, Delvin, is this a lady caller friend of yours that wrote that in there?
No, I'm just
Delvin wrote that.
I mean, you
Delvin
did a great
is doing a Kevin Durant. That's another account. He's doing it that's a fake account that he did. Yeah.
Can you imagine if you just yelled Slater and then got a SAG card for that? Next. Oh yeah, so how much better we got that. Okay. And Alfred Schulz, Nepo brother. I love that. Lord Snurts. He doesn't miss, does he? Is Bill Schulz the doppelganger of the Ripper?
Look, Schulz, you got to fight this motherfucker.
I can see it.
I hate to defend.
I can say it.
I hate to defend Bill, but Bill's got a pretty good head of hair on his,
he does.
Top of his head that the Ripper does not have.
You have to fight him. You got to fight Snurts.
The Ripper has a skullet. Bill at least has a lion's mane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what the biggest mistake with the Ripper was? Those fake teeth they gave him, because it made everything he said like in a weird lisp, and you could see he was struggling with the fake teeth.
Worst fake teeth: the Ripper, Jonah Hill in Wolf of Wall Street, or Mr. Yonioshi from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Ooh.
Well, the last one's a hate crime.
Yeah, it is.
First of all,
Jess on this
I like
very
Jonah
podcast
Hills.
this week.
Jonah Hills made the character, I think.
Yeah. Fair point.
But I can't handle that movie. Yeah.
And the second half of the question for both of the brothers: what are the 3 weakest Arnold movies? Boy, I can give you 2 right off the bat.
Oh boy, that
weakest. I mean, he has a whole bunch I haven't seen because of their weakness. Eraser, I saw in the theaters.
Saw it in the theater too.
I never saw that.
End of Days, awful.
Not that good. Eraser's not that bad. It's not good, but it's also not that bad.
And then,
can this question be modified to the famous Arnold movies? Because he has a lot of movies like in his tail in his career that just fucking suck.
Yeah. So, sure.
I have 2 immediate ones. I'm surprised. Batman and Robin. Come on, where the fuck are you on that?
That's one.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
That's without a doubt. Raw Deal is terrible as well. If you saw that,
I've never seen it.
Raw Deal's bad.
That's
which one was Raw Deal?
He's in the fighting the Chicago mob. I just remember the poster. He has a shotgun.
Okay, and I thought I had the title wrong because I will see you that and raise you Red Heat.
That was my third. I was going to say. That was the third. I was going to say.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Don't rush. Don't rush.
I look, as Alfred will tell you, I don't want to besmirch any Chicagoan, but if Jim Belushi's in an action movie, it's probably not going to be that good.
If Jim Belushi's in a movie,
it's not going to be that good.
The sixth, but don't forget, guys. The Sixth Day.
About Last Night was a hit.
Yeah. The sixth day collateral damage. Not good. That was terrible. And collateral damage was also bad too.
Yeah, those movies are terrible.
Delvin, you know this. Well, I forgot the name of it. He's in a zombie film where his daughter gets bit and he takes her away. It's like an independent film. It's solid.
Shoot. I can't remember the name, but it came out like a few years back. It's pretty good.
It's very good. Yeah, it's good.
I have no idea what. I've never heard of that.
I also will accept any Terminator film that's not Terminator 1 or 2.
I agree with that. I haven't seen them, but I have no desire.
T3 I rewatch is bad.
I started watching Genesis a couple nights ago because I'm awesome and I have a huge, amazing life. And I'm like about halfway through it. I do like the concept of bringing Linda Hamilton back, and also John Connor died at the beginning. With another Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator. I love that. Well, it was the beginning of the movie, but I thought that was kind of brilliant. But
I think that's Dark Fate, isn't it?
That's Dark Fate. Genesis is the one where John Connor is like the T-1000 kind of looking thing, which also sucked.
Oh, okay. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. That's the whatever the last one was.
Yeah, Dark Fate. That's the one James Cameron has something to do with.
Yeah,
I tried. I
like what I see so far. No.
That got that's terrible. And another one. We have at Bango 2331. I have not yet seen this movie. That is a statement, sir, not a question. Get on the goddamn stick. That closes Ask Gutter. And hey, no one listens to the end of podcasts, so we do our plugs in the beginning. Let's go to Bill Schulz. Bill, what are you up to over there on the morning show with that plucky Joanne Nosachinski? Jasmine Nosachinski.
Thank you for saying Jasmine. I will plug your show for America finding out for the first time that was Joanne's college boyfriend's nickname for maybe her lady parts. And he based it on Jasmine in which Disney movie was it? Aladdin. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. And, and to this day, Joanne will reference Jasmine slyly when Kev is on.
Yep.
But yes,
I was more offended by you not knowing who Jasmine was.
I had a brain fart. Yeah, you can see Joanne Goodhart. I'm still getting used to it. Nay Nosachinski at morning on compoundmedia.com. I forget what the subscriber rate is, but you can't afford not to have it. Lots of great content aside from Gino Visconti. And you really got to do it. And we also have a YouTube channel. Just type in morning Bill and Joe. Joanne does all of that. She's doing a great job. We're still learning, but
I have a bone to pick with her. Every time I'm on, which is every goddamn month, I never make the clip section. I go, what the fuck is going on here? I am one of the easiest, most booked guests on this show.
You are quite literally the most booked, but by the way, the ones that get on are the ones that remind her to do it. So you just all you gotta do is email and be like, hey, remember this, that, all you gotta do is make her job easier. But and that's it. Stupid Mike Baker articles on Entrepreneur and Maxim, but those were a while ago. But it was a former guest of Kev's. Sorry, guys, I'm mumbling. Go ahead.
Alfred, anything you want to throw out there, or just going to defer to Bill?
Yeah, defer to Bill because I'm the Nepo brother, and making podcasts here and there that they probably wouldn't want me to promote it because I'll do it a disservice. And then just add Alfred Schulz on the dumpster fire that is Twitter.
He was essentially the co-host of Stand Up with Pete Dominic on Sirius, and he had a great show, which is why I always knew he'd be great for this. That kind of delves into all of these weird pop culture minutia wormhole stuff called Sit Down with him and his co-producer
Chris Hassel.
Let's
plug more shows that don't exist.
I know, it was great. I loved it.
Here's Bill. Bill, do you want to shout out the Max Headroom show, which aired on ABC back in the 80s as well?
I gotta look that up. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a good show.
That was a mindfuck. Yeah.
Delvin Cox, tell me about the Delvin Cox experience and what you're up to over there, my friend.
Delvin Cox Experience still rocking and rolling, almost at 300 episodes.
Wow.
Also,
congrats.
I am on a podcast called Play Some Video Games, talking about video game stuff. It's pretty well-known podcast. It's pretty cool. If you like video game stuff, you like to hear people talk about video games and frankly talk shit about each other, because that's what we do. You can check that one out. And on the Dial Up Movie Club's, I guess their podcast feed, they did a 4-part audio drama called Justice League Mortal. And I guess this kind of pertains to this show because Justice League Mortal is based off of the unmade Justice League movie that was supposed to come out several years ago. I think it was, who was supposed to make it? Shoot. I don't remember who was supposed to make it. But they took the script and made it to an audio drama, and I played Jon Stewart's Green Lantern in it.
Thanks for the fucking invite, dickhead.
Oh wow.
I mean, I'm a voiceover guy too, but you know, whatever, Kevin. I'll just go fist myself.
I just tried out for the role, and I got the role to be Green. I didn't cast the role.
I know, I'm kidding.
But it came out really good.
I haven't watched it yet, but I know they did the same thing with Superman Lives, right? And Nicolas Cage did do the voice of his cartoon version of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a doc out about the failure to make Superman Lives.
Amazing.
Have you seen it? I want to see
Superman Lives.
I did. It's
Yeah.
a great doc.
Amazing.
I got it. I know where I can find it though. It's not. Is it streaming anywhere?
I mean, it's probably on Amazon. It was streaming a while ago. I don't know, but like it's almost like this podcast in a way where like at the end of it, at the beginning of it, it's all about how terrible this movie would have been, and by the end, you're like, I really want to see this
Watch.
movie.
Yes.
Watch it.
I felt the same way.
It really fucked with your mind in that sense.
Who was supposed to be Batman in that iteration?
They didn't really, I don't think, got that far with having an actual Batman, but it was Christopher
I don't think
Walken was
they did have
Brainiac.
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin Smith wrote it, if I remember
He
correctly.
did, and he was going
He
to
wrote a
direct it
draft.
too.
He
Yeah.
wrote a draft of it, and then Tim Burton brought another guy to you watch it. It's an awesome documentary, especially if you love this stuff. It's perfect.
I'm sold. Delvin Cox, why don't we do together what we like to do, and that's welcome our guest to Gut the Sacred Cow. April
Fuck yeah.
Fools! Today's the day we're throwing a curveball because today's the day, and I give credit to Bex at Bex on Twitter, and Bill Schulz had the same ideas separate of each other to say, you know what we should do for April Fools? Throw a curveball. Find a film that got panned that we all love. Bill and Alfred come out here and defend the Sacred Cow.
Well, by the way, give me a little credit here because like some of the questions you were asking earlier, I was looking at Delvin and I'm like, I don't know if I can answer this.
Yeah,
I know.
Like,
that's good play. Well played. So yeah, that was the idea. Of
no, Delvin,
so
we love the movie. We love the movie. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Don't
Delvin, you hold on to yours, and we're gonna hear Bill and Alfred's takes on this, and then we're gonna go to you.
I'll go to the younger piece of crap brother. He could go first.
Oh,
I'll use scrubs.
I will say this. I don't want to this will evolve because especially since we're all on the same page. I will say that I think it was ahead of its time in a lot of ways, in that if you get rid of sort of the bombastic nature of it and sort of the hype that surrounded it, I think it was ahead of its time when it comes to sort of a meta look at Hollywood and having actors play themselves. It happened before in like The Player and things like that, but this did it on such like a very pop culture level, like not. It was done in very much for mass audience, which later was something that like, you know, you would see in the Larry Sanders Show or Entourage. And there's countless examples of that now it's normal for a celebrity to play themselves and make fun of themselves. This was like real. And also like someone like Schwarzenegger who had done comedy, but he hadn't like Kindergarten Cop. Yes, that's funny. And is he making fun of himself? Sort of. He's just putting himself in awkward positions. He's not really he's still strong, muscular, and like a badass. This, I mean, my favorite quote from the movie was Maria Shriver making fun of him. Like, that was a thing. He was on TV all the time talking about Planet Hollywood. And it really was tacky and weird. And like him cutting to the core of that. Now he's not like totally destroying himself and having his wife say that, but it's a great moment. And the way she plays it off so realistically, that's a legit funny moment. And I think that there are legit funny parts in this movie. And if you don't think about the baggage surrounding it with how it was overblown with its budget, how they paid Schwarzenegger $14 million for this, which is
back then is insane.
Wow.
Like, I mean, that's a lot now for one actor in one movie, but like, and so like all those things, if you get rid of the baggage in a vacuum, it's a fun movie. It legit, some of the jokes legit hold up. Now, not all of it holds up, and we can, I'm sure, get into that as well. But like, it's a funny movie, and it's fun. It's nonstop action, and it's funny.
Fair.
Thanks.
Bill.
Hey,
Bill, you hit some points up there.
Well, there was a great article. God, I want to give them credit. Oh, and Gizmodo, I guess IO9, that really said it better than me, which was, to Alfred's point, it was ahead of its time, but it would have been so much more well received now with quick cameos that at the time made no sense. And like, I can't believe I'm seeing T2 and Sharon Stone in the same camera frame as he's leaving that was so lost on an audience in 1993, but in the TikTok YouTube audience of now,
you think it was lost on people? I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
It wasn't lost on people, but they couldn't deal with it.
I think the movie was a barrage, which was like almost a hindrance to it, because it was nonstop moments like that. And at a certain point, they start losing meaning, because you see a cartoon cat and the T-1000, and you see Sharon Stone within a minute of each other. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? Sorry, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, no, but like, and Alfred, you made the great point when we were watching it with the legacy. I mean, you can start with just the Hamlet trailer, which was hilarious.
Excellent.
Schwarzenegger in Hamlet. Yeah. But they did the Sir Lawrence of Olivier Hamlet, right?
Yeah.
But
by the way, that was Olivier's last wife as Danny Madigan's English teacher.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's insane.
Yeah. So very tongue-in-cheek. I didn't know that until
hilarious. Because then she goes on, she's like, and you know him from
the Kodak commercial or whatever.
Oh,
that's
Yeah. But first of all, you've got that beautiful pseudo fake trailer, which we would see years later in Tropic Thunder to open the movie with the series of wonderful fake trailers. You have a way that they filmed it that we would not see until a couple years later in Sin City, where every once in a while you'll see a color, and it's beautifully lit. It's one color in an otherwise black and white movie. And that was all in one little scene of a fun little fake trailer of the Sir Lawrence of Olivier via Arnold Schwarzenegger throwaway thing in this really unbelievably ahead of its time movie. And the idea of just going in and attacking the cliches that Alfred also said has been aped so many times before, especially Scream. And Alfred said that.
Jamie Kennedy's character is very similar to Austin O'Brien's character in that they're just sort of walking you through all the cliches to look out for.
True.
And to a bigger, to the same extent, Galaxy Quest. It has everything. It owes everything to Last Action Hero. And it was
Three Amigos.
Yeah, no, I'll take it. But it was the right movie at the wrong time is the best way to put it. And there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen, perhaps too many writers. There are a lot of ways they could have done it better. They had opened up a whole universe that would have been so fun to play with in, say, like a movie like Ready Player One, right? Where you got this ticket and Benedict teases it. I could get King Kong. I could get Dracula. Well, they don't really do it in this movie. They don't necessarily have to. But you've got a giant can of worms to play with. If there were sequels and this was a success, and unfortunately it wasn't. At least, I mean, they made movie. They made money, but it was certainly not a hit. And it was the right movie at the wrong time. But I loved it, and it reminded me how much I loved it when Alfred and I watched it.
Wow.
I have some criticisms, but
Yeah.
I still love the movie. We could get to those whenever.
Let's hear them.
Well, what are the rules? I mean, you guys all recently watched it. When you have a movie like this, it's important for the audience to have specific rules to know what they're getting into. All right, you got the movie ticket from Houdini, whose entire career was based on debunking charlatans.
Yeah,
right.
Houdini was not a magician.
Yeah.
Houdini would go across the country and debunk people that would do seances, because he thought it was so offensive that they would play upon someone who's just died and their parents want them to talk to the spirits, and he'd debunk them all. And in the base of this movie, Houdini's got a magic ticket. No, Houdini hates magic. So they got that. But then how does this ticket work? Okay, we got Ian, Alfred, what's his name? Thank you. Ian McKellen at the end being like, I'd look for the other half of the ticket. Is it that easy? All right, so there's the other half of the ticket, but then also how does this ticket work? So you got the kid and Arnold Schwarzenegger that lose Benedict. Benedict gets the ticket, he's out. So they're stuck there. That's kind of how it's supposed to work. No, it lasts a little longer. There's a malleable wall here that maybe we can still jump through. And the big criticism I would say is real world. You could have a lot of fun with that. Mm-hmm. The real New York. First of all, I want real world New York. I wanted Arnold and Austin, the kid, to bump into the cast of real. I wanted him to bump into real world New York and the inaugural cast in real world New York. But it wasn't real world New York. That was not in New York. Yeah. Oh God. The Grind. Remember that? Before it was a
Who doesn't?
site. It was yeah. But the real world, they could have had so much fun with real world New York, but instead, everything Schwarzenegger did, he would be in the hospital for immediately. Even just punching the window, that's tendons gone, that's all that. They should have done that. But Arnold is just slightly more injured until the end when he gets shot. By the way, he gets shot in the chest. He is shot in the chest, at least near the heart, definitely in the lung. He lasts for another 30 minutes before they put him back into movie world. He would be dead like that. And the hand punching through the thing, him falling off the car, all those could have been real actual injuries that they could have had fun with. They didn't. The real world of New York in 1993, while New York was bad in 1993, it was not the hellscape that we saw. And by the way, that chicken scene where the cars hit together, and of course they both should have been dead. Anyone that watches a movie about New York and you see an alley, it's not New York.
Nope.
We don't have alleys.
Chinatown.
We don't have alleys.
Chinatown is it.
A couple, none of them fit a car. Okay. And at least of not two cars going together. I do think, and Kev, you might know this. I do believe maybe the one scene that was filmed in New York, which is very impressive, was the Jack Slater movie premiere in Times Square.
Yeah.
That looked to me like they were actually filming there.
I don't know. I think the movie theater stuff was filmed. That's old Times Square, man. Either they must have nailed.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, well, besides the movie premiere where the kid walks in and out of the theater.
No, outside.
Yeah. That's real New York, man. That's old school Times Square to me.
Yeah. I think that was the one scene that was filmed in New York. The rest of it was a cartoonish hellscape of what 1993 New York looks like for LA producers.
Montreal.
Was it filmed in? I don't know.
No.
It looked like downtown LA. That's what it looked like.
I think it was in downtown LA. I agree. Yeah. But I'm sorry, Alfred, go on. I've gabbled too much, but
in terms of criticisms, I think that you got a lot of them. I think criticisms like, it's too much. And poor Austin O'Brien. I think that, kids, there's so many generations of child stars that got completely just destroyed because gatekeepers didn't know what to do with them. I mean, this poor kid with his like Hollywood haircut, no really relatable kid looked like that. They didn't dress like that. They didn't talk like that.
Nope.
I think one thing, like we are living in, speaking of hellscapes, we're living in a hellscape right now. However, because of the one good thing the internet has done is that it has democratized certain elements like this where like kids are slightly more believable than they were. And I think that like they come across slightly more well-adjusted on screen than they did
absolutely
when you had a bunch of 50-year-old Hollywood moguls telling kids how to be kids. And I think he suffered from that because his acting's not great. He's too much. Pork, and I don't blame him at all because he's too much in the movie. He's constantly talking, and he gives up like a barrage of information, like, oh, gee, shucks, kind of in a kind of old timey sort of way, and it just doesn't seem realistic in the slightest. The other thing, and I don't know if this is a criticism, but we had a weird period of time where, and I don't think this ever really happened in real life, or at least if it did, it went very differently. Where you would have a kid, there'd be a trope in a movie where a kid, teenager or adolescent, would be friends with the middle-aged eccentric weirdo guy.
Yes.
Like, obviously,
how
Marty
about
McFly and
Back to the
Doc.
Future? Damn it, it's in my notes, Alfred, you son of a bitch.
But then there's also like, the karate, Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
even the Teenage Ninja Turtles and Splinter. Like, at a certain point, when did that happen that often? Like, I don't remember. It's like, being like 13 years old and be like, hey, where did Brian go? Oh, he's hanging out with that old weird professor today. It's like, oh, okay. That never really happened. That's not a
because
real.
he chose not to get in the van.
That didn't
Yeah, exactly.
happen.
If it did happen, the kid's in deep trouble.
Yes.
He's not getting helped.
You didn't go to the bicycle shop.
Yeah,
Exactly. Poor
A
Dudley.
different Strokes reference. I love
Poor
it.
Dudley.
When Alfred and I were watching this,
Uh-oh.
he kind of rocked my world where he's like, this gives credence to any conspiracy theorist that thinks that all Hollywood is servicing pedophiles. If they're not the pizza place that Hillary Clinton runs in DC, they're over in LA. And it really, and I started thinking about Marty McFly. It really, it hurt my brain.
It's a weird trope.
Yeah. The older guy mentoring the young boy, the delicious young boy. Yeah.
Oh, this is the Hollywood pedophile ring coming full circle. What else? Do you fellas have any other points, or is that going to wrap it up?
Why Macaulay Culkin was something new is he wasn't precocious. He also didn't have the weird wavy haircut that only kids in movies had. In the 90s, everyone had a short haircut. There was no one that had the sort of feathered hair.
Oh,
that
someone
Austin had.
didn't watch Home Improvement on channels on ABC.
Oh no,
almost
but
case in
that's my
point.
point. You're giving me my point.
I know.
Absolutely, yeah. No, kids had the cool, the short little buzz cut Macaulay Culkin look, and Macaulay Culkin was, while adorable, of course he was adorable, but he wasn't precocious. He wasn't a child actor guy that the way he would deliver his lines. Unfortunately, Austin was all those, and I think that definitely sort of ended with Last Action Hero. But the only other thing I would say is fuck you, Alfred, for the fact that I recognized that was Melvin Van Peebles in the ambulance as a cameo before Alfred did. So I win.
I will say this. It is a little weird that the kid is a Jack Slater fan, but not necessarily an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. Like when I was a kid, I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, like, The Terminator, Last Action Hero, all the things that he did. So I wouldn't be like, oh, there's Jack Slater. I'd be like, that's Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger. I wouldn't be like just obsessed with like Jack Slater. I'd be obsessed with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movies that he was in. And this kid's like clearly just obsessed with this one character. And this kid is like, he's not a young kid. He's like a preteen or something like that. So he should know this type of shit. If he's really so deep into the type of lore and stuff like that. And for him to be saying like, I love Jack Slater. And then you just see Arnold Schwarzenegger like, oh, that's just Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, but by the way, though, Delvin, it does remind me, no comedy really ages well. And I'm not even talking about stuff that's inappropriate. It's not funny anymore.
Yes.
But one scene that really I realized how brilliant and perfect it was when Jack Slater beats Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is dead solid,
really
perfect. And I'm surprised none of you guys did the quote. Frankly, I don't really like you. You brought me nothing but pain. And his exchange, it was unbelievable. It could not have been done any better. Where, first of all, Arnold Schwarzenegger, a real-life hero apparently, thinks this guy is a terrorist, and then realizes, oh, it's a stunt show. And, well, that is quite a good lookalike, Hollywood-wise, that they cast for that. And the exchange is just, it's a perfect scene. It's a perfect scene. Yeah.
What are you guys going to give this in the old 1 to 10? Let's hear from both of you.
Oh, gosh. Go ahead, Alfred.
I'll give it an 8. I think 8. It's fun. It's again, it works best in a vacuum. Don't read about the sort of hoopla surrounding it. Don't read about how big of a bomb it was, and just sort of enjoy it. Watch maybe a couple Schwarzenegger movies beforehand to give you that kind of context. But besides that, yeah, it's really fun, and it goes by really fast. It's not a huge investment, and it's good.
Bill,
I would say just on rewatching it, because we both saw more of its flaws. I would say a 7, but I'm going to give it an 8, like Alfred, because I copy, because of the legacy it left. And no, seriously, the legacy is huge. This movie really was started a lot of things, and does not get enough credit for that.
Another quick criticism is that because it was a bomb, Schwarzenegger then, and I think the studio, there was going to be a Hans and Franz movie where Schwarzenegger played himself.
Yep.
And then this
amazing
bomb that got canceled. And
amazing.
The Hans and Franz movie was written by Dana Carvey, Kevin Nealon, and Conan O'Brien. So that movie would have been amazing.
Would have been just as good as Superfans movie.
Exactly.
Which was going to be a thing.
Which was written, yeah.
Hilarious. Delvin Cox, line up, buddy. Let's go.
I gotta tell you, I am happy that I did not know anything about the April Fool's thing.
Oh, great.
That was the whole point.
Yeah.
You in the
because
audience.
I went in this motherfucker like I'm ready for war. So that's great. I love it. So I got notes. I got a lot of notes. First and foremost, this is a movie that's kind of hard to like gut. And because the reason why I say that is because it's a satire. So everything in the movie is supposed to kind of like, at least the first 90% of the movie is supposed to be kind of silly and off the wall and off the hinges and stuff like that. So I kind of have to give it leeway when it comes to that type of stuff because, like, it's kind of a parody of Schwarzenegger movies. So if you like Schwarzenegger movies like Commando and stuff like that, and the cheesy one-liners, you would love this because it's a play off of that. And it's to me when I originally watched this movie, I was like, this is a fun. I was probably like 13, 14. Like, this is a fun movie. But I didn't take into the context that this movie was after Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Which was a monster, huge, colossal hit. Not only just like in terms of plot-wise, but like in terms of how technologically advanced it was with how everything looked so amazing. So from watching Terminator 2 to watching this and the special effects being so bad, it's almost laughable. It's like, whoa, this is different. This is not what I expected. so I can
special effects
understand.
Were pretty good for its time.
They were terrible. Like the acts.
What did you wait? You're saying Terminator 2 effects are terrible?
No, I was saying the last
action hero.
Oh my, what? They're so good.
Bad.
Oh yeah.
That's my point.
When the cars flip and explode, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. when the Ripper has the kid, I guess it was Jack Slade's son, at the beginning, he has the axe point the opposite way. Like, why don't you just shoot him? He can't stab him. The axe pointed the opposite direction. Now you're gonna slice him with the axe pointed opposite. Then the axe looked fake. Like, it took me out of it a little bit, but then I have to keep keeping in mind that it's a parody of an action movie. So you have to you can't really knock it for that because it's like, okay, I get it. But there are things like that. And let me get to another thing about this movie. Because see, for every great thing I liked about the actual world that Jack Slater lives in, the real world fucking sucks.
Right.
Like, it is terrible. It takes you completely out of the movie. I wish they didn't have the real world in this movie because it takes away so much from the movie. Like, I'll give a perfect example. This kid's mom is the worst fucking mother in history. This kid gets fucking robbed.
Mercedes Ruehl, how dare you, sir?
He gets robbed. He's at the police station. His mom can't even have the balls to get off work. The check him like, no, just tell him to go back home. He'll be
yeah, just put some dirt, just rub some dirt on it, pussy.
Just go back to the house you just got robbed in and sit.
Didn't the burglar handcuff him to a toilet or something? Like,
yes.
It's a rough scene. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, go back home. Why the fuck would I want to go back home? I just got robbed there.
And he gets poor shamed too. It's like, oh, you're poor garbage. You have a garbage TV and no jewelry. Ugh, you stink. Go fish.
Yeah.
I laughed. That's funny.
Yeah, and then on top of that, then when he comes out of the movie world and comes back to the real world, he's been gone for hours. And he comes back with this strange man that she's never met. She's just fine with it. I go, okay, here's this big man with my son. God knows what they've been doing for the last few hours, but it's okay. I'm quite sure he took care of my son very well. Like, this is just such a weird thing. There should have been something there to tell you, like, no, this is the real world. Shit like that doesn't happen. Parents are not going to sit there and you come with a stranger in your house like, oh, this is.
I think she sort of thought it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, so she was kind of into it. You know, like.
Well, also,
that's the out.
To Alfred's point, it's Hollywood conditioning moms everywhere to be like, it's okay if your son comes back with an older man.
With an older celebrity.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Better than him hanging out with the old weirdo who works at the movie theater, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's two of them in there. Yeah, you're right.
Weird thing that kind of bothers me about the real world in this movie is the real world didn't follow their own rules. And what I mean by that is...
Yes.
Yeah.
That drove me crazy in terms of like, okay, Benedict gives this cool speech about how he could just pull any movie villain out and bring him to the world. I thought it was great. But then when you take in consideration, none of them had their abilities when they came out of the movie.
That's a good
so if you bring
except
in
for Death, I guess.
Yeah, that was a weird.
And that didn't make any sense.
It doesn't make
no sense. Yeah.
How did Death know Danny if he's not from that world?
Yeah.
I'm gonna re-raise you. If he talks about going about getting these badass villains out of films, why did he go get the fucking Ripper?
Exactly.
Again, closure for getting the kid back. Okay, fine. I get that part, that plot point, but. If you're just saying you can go get Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers, god damn it, go get the xenomorph queen mother from Aliens, but bring someone back. Don't just go, here's this limp dick villain from Jack Slater 3, whatever it was.
Hey, Jack Slater already beat.
Exactly.
Yes. Absolutely excellent point. Why get someone who clearly can't do the job and bring him back? Like, yeah.
And whose weapon is an axe.
Axe.
Exactly.
And also, by the way, a very complicated axe.
Yeah.
Remember, he takes it out. It's almost like a cocktail maker thing. Yeah. There's thing and that. You got to put that on. And
I've seen
it's a very complicated axe.
I've seen Amish raise barns faster than that axe got put together.
and since we brought the Ripper, another thing that drove me crazy about it is the final battle between Jack and the Ripper, right? The Ripper gives him his axe. And the first thing that comes to my mind, okay, chop this motherfucker's head off and call it a day. But Jack finds the most convoluted way to kill this man that made no sense.
Oh, the electricity.
Yeah. Especially since it's the real world. That didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense whatsoever. Nah. He jumps like on the side of the building and hits this junction box that literally would have fried him if he did that. And the electricity travels from that box and shocks the Ripper. I'm like, that doesn't happen.
There it is.
Yeah, Delvin, you were so right. Again, this is supposed to be the real world. And remember, while all this is happening, that Austin kid is dangling off of a
balcony or ledge.
Like a
gargoyle or something.
Gargoyle. Yeah, and then has to leap while holding on by his legs onto Arnold Schwarzenegger's arms. Like, no, that's what's supposed to happen in LA in the movie. That's not what's supposed to happen in real world New York. Like, they could have had a lot more fun with real world. And,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. I think the real world kind of takes you out of it. Once you get to the real world, like, I'm along for the ride all during the movie world and stuff like that because, in the end of the day, it's all fun and games and it's ridiculous, but it's supposed to be ridiculous because it feels like a parody of a Schwarzenegger movie, but done by Schwarzenegger, so it makes it even more funnier.
Sure,
like even the whole thing where you see T2 and you see Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, great!
I'm like, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
You know,
Loves it.
It kind of is great. So I kind of love that. But when you get to the real world, you're like, God, what happened? Where did it go wrong? Where the real world is just off. Like the real world feels like fucking Gotham City. Like this is crime and lawlessness. He just shoots a motherfucker. Nobody comes by. Nobody cares. I'm like, all right, like I get this is supposed to be New York, but not even New York's that bad.
No, it's like they wanted it both ways. It's so weird because you're absolutely right. The New York of then that they made is not like that, and yet they still have made a New York that defies the laws of physics. And every scene we just discussed in real world New York, and they couldn't find a middle ground. Yeah.
Which is funny because the one time they try to make it real, he pumps 4 bullets into a taxi cab trunk. Like, See? No
That was a great scene.
explosions. Yeah.
That was a great scene. I love that scene.
Yeah.
And then another scene that kind of drove me crazy. The ambulance scene that you guys mentioned earlier.
Oh, God, yeah.
Where Danny is in the ambulance and he's telling them, take him back home. And the ambulance people don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't give him any type of thing. He doesn't tell them take him to the movie. And then, I guess he just assumes they're going to know what, like, hey, take me to the movie theater so I can let this man live. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Like it's E.T. It's E.T. We have to get him back home. The flowers are dying.
And I'm just like, what the? Then he just pulls out a gun. And I think this is the funny part because the ambulance guys just fucking leave. That makes perfect sense. Like, fucking this kid talking about? This crazy kid just pulls out a gun on me all of a sudden and then he just leaves. Like, that tracks.
Yeah. Again, it's supposed to be the real world.
Delvin, give me a number.
When I was a kid, I would have gave this a 7.5.
All right.
Now, seeing the flaws, I'll go 6.5.
Fair.
I think it's good. I think it's fun. I think everything you guys said is valid and correct. I think that, and I would even say this. If this movie came out a little bit later and they touched up some things in this movie, I think it'd have been regarded a lot more higher.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
These notes brought to you by guttingthesacredcow.com, where you can find yourself a kick-ass hat, mug, bag, shirt, whatever. We got it. More importantly, hey, did you write us a 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence review on your podcast platform of choice? Alfred's a podcast producer. He knows how important those are.
They are?
I mean,
maybe, we didn't say he was a good producer.
Yeah, maybe this is why Sirius and him parted ways. Anywho.
I can't talk about it.
Gutting the Sacred Cow. Gutting the Sacred Cow.
Actually, I can.
At gmail.com. Gutting the Sacred Cow at gmail.com to say hi or to advertise with us. Notes. It's fun to see Slater's captain lasting for more than 15 seconds, unlike when he was shot up in the first 15 seconds of Red Dawn.
Oh, yes. Which I was on that show. Yeah. Yes, by the way, you'll hate this, Delvin. The only black man in Red Dawn dies in the first, I would say
15 seconds.
That's correct. Yeah. I remember that scene. Yeah. I used to like Red Dawn.
Yeah, that movie sucked when I saw as a kid, and it sucks as an adult.
Yeah.
Even Arnold walking on top of squad cars in the first 45 seconds is over the top, and I am here for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Here's a lawyer moment. Kevin Israel should have sat in for this. Wouldn't Jack's illegal search for that bloody axe from the Ripper freed him immediately instead of setting him to jail for 10 years?
Yes.
But it's movie world.
I know.
Those rules don't apply, my friend.
I know. I've said that doesn't happen. Rules don't apply. I get that. I disagree with you, boys. This soundtrack is a goddamn banger, and I present to you Exhibit A, Alice in Chains, What the Hell Have I?
I agree, but it's not of the time.
It added to its overhypeness and sort of out of touchness. I think. Yeah. I don't
disagree.
Have a problem with it. I disagree.
Yeah, I love all that shit.
A lot of those bands were not considered cool in 1993.
Wrong. Alice in Chains was.
Alice in Chains is the one exception.
Wrong. Cock the Hammer by Cypress Hill. B, right in their heyday. Could not disagree more. Dream on Aerosmith. That's
I
live
forgot that
version.
Was on the thing.
Oh yeah. Listen, Queensryche, Def Leppard. I agree. Anthrax is debatable. Megadeth, same
Def
story.
Leppard.
2 Chainz. Fishbone is on here as well. AC/DC, debatable.
Fishbone.
Yep, Fishbone.
AC/DC, I think any other 4-year period would work with for AC/DC. Just that time in the 90s, they weren't into.
Yeah,
they had a couple. They had a couple. They had a couple. There was one called Ball Breaker, was their album that came out in '97.
Yeah,
I believe I was in college. Next. I truly miss the days of grand movie theaters. They're palatial, they're nostalgic, and you are spaced out enough where you don't hear other people talking, chewing with their mouth open, or getting jerked off. Those are the reasons why old school theater.
Wait, what theaters are you going to?
Same ones Pee Wee Herman was in.
Listen, any movie theater you walk into can be a Pee Wee Herman movie theater, if you know what I mean. Alfred stole this right from me. Danny striking up a friendship with a movie projectionist seems as likely as Marty McFly striking up a friendship with an eccentric scientist. No, that doesn't happen.
It's weird.
That's real world. That doesn't happen.
When it does happen, it's
it
not
does.
good. It's not good.
Exactly.
It's not a happy ending.
It usually ends with Chris Hansen saying, "So you brought a pizza? What are you doing here?"
You operate.
And by the way, kind of to Delvin and Alfred's point, how much fun would it have been in real world New York if she reacted the way she should have reacted, which is, well, like, what are you doing with this older man with a really tight T-shirt? And randomly, she didn't know who Arnold Schwarzenegger was. Like, if people had reacted that way in a real world situation in real New York, that would have been a great subplot. Yeah.
Why the hell would you show up to school 4 hours late? Why bother? Are you going back to class because teacher says today we're going to talk about Sir Laurence Olivier and watch Hamlet? Who does that? Once you cut, dude, I'm an all in or all out. If I cut, I'm out for the
I have
day.
an explanation for that.
I am in great adventure like that. I am in playing video games all day and sneaking Zimas at Nicole Buffin's house like that. I am not going back to school once I cut.
I have an explanation for that.
Okay.
Think about the time frame. 4 hours. That motherfucker was showing up for lunch because he is broke as shit.
But he's going to the movies all the time.
Yeah.
But he's going to the movies all the time.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole other problem with that old man. Come watch this movie.
There's a lot about the timeline that doesn't work either. Yeah.
This movie is chock filled of 90s time capsules. I present to you Exhibit A, Danny wearing Reebok pump shoes. I had at least 3 to 5 pairs of cross trainers. Had them. Love it. I didn't know you guys needed to dress up as an usher to screen a movie at midnight for one eventual USC film school dropout that ditches school. But then again, nerds show up dressing like Mace Windu to Star Wars films. So what do I know?
That is
He's
very
a
accurate.
show, man. He's having fun with it.
Or he's a
For one person? Yeah.
He can be both.
All of them are.
A showman pedophile.
Robert Prosky, by the way, I almost wrote down Robert Loggia, easily juxtaposable, right? Juxtaposable, excuse me. His eyebrows look like Pam Grier's fro in Foxy Brown. Now, I present to you a 3-way Hell in a Cell match. Robert Prosky's eyebrows against Peter Gallagher's and Eugene Levy's eyebrows. 3-way Hell in a Cell match. Let's see it at Mania this weekend.
Add Brooke Shields.
Eugene's are good. They're good. Man. Peter Gallagher's though, don't sleep on those things. Those are like if they were green, they would remind me of the plush forest of Endor in Return of the Jedi. Hey, when Slater starts to count down with the cards of the bomb at his uncle, where's the tripwire to start the bomb counting from 5? Because by my count,
there are
he's
a lot of
dead.
problems with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, bombs don't work like that. You can't just pull up a card. Just like that.
5, 4. And by the way, the bomb pauses for a second when he figures it out.
Yeah.
For enough time for him to get.
I agree with all those comments. Kind of a great scene, though. I don't think in the context of the movie, I love that.
It is.
Yeah. I give you Exhibit B of a 90s film capsule. The mini disc player he has in his car that no one bought. No one bought that. I don't know anyone who owns that thing.
Radio, you know why radio people had them? Because it was small and you could record on them. So the only people that bought mini discs were people in radio stations in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, did not know that. I saw that at the Macy's electronics section. Remember when Macy's had the electronics section? How are we dating? How old are we dating each other right now, fellas? And I go, what is this?
I had Marshall Fields.
Yeah, we were salt of the earth Midwesterners with Marshall Fields.
The cameos are hilarious. You know what cameo would have made this really hilarious and ironic? A Lou Ferrigno cameo.
That'd have been a good one.
Oh God, do they even speak to each other?
No, which is why it would be a
great.
They
made up, yeah.
Which is funny because Schwarzenegger and Sharon Stone hated each other after doing Total Recall, but he cajoled her into doing this one. Go figure.
Yeah.
What movie?
Everyone hated Sharon Stone.
Yeah. What movie power would you borrow? Mine is Leo DiCaprio's airtight NDA that he has every 23-year-old bangs sign off on. That's next one. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
What's the question though? Like
what movie power would you buy? Any movie? What power? Again, I'll tell you what. I gotta cut it somewhere. What besides a superhero one? Too easy. What movie power or a special trait would you borrow?
It's getting pretty thin up top. The best hair plugger.
Oh my god!
Only a few people in Hollywood know the best
insane.
hair pluggers.
Cry me a goddamn river.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Let's see. Next, I love when Danny gets the Blockbuster girl to give Arnold his phone number, and Arnold says, "I'm a cop. It's okay." I should have been using that line to women at bars for years and saying, "Just give me your number. I'm a cop. It's okay." I hope I'm very surprised you guys didn't catch this expert cameo. The butler in Benedict's house, none other than the butler from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Francis is busy. Doing what? He's having his bath.
I did not notice.
Where are they hosing him down at?
I was happy about Odd Job. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. This part made me laugh heartily still. When Benedict says the dogs are exceptionally well trained, I laugh my balls off when they all jump into a dog pyramid.
Great.
That's so Naked Gun. Yeah.
And that scene is great because it's super silly, and yet there is like kind of real tension. And Benedict is really good, and it's the first time he's sort of vulnerable. Like, it's a kind of a really well done scene, and Schwarzenegger is really funny in it, and like it's super confident in it, and it kind of gets serious at the end. It's a really well done. That scene almost exemplifies the best of the movie, I think.
I agree.
Without a doubt. Remember how long they prolonged the Wizard of Oz references? It keeps going and going. It's like, well,
who's asking? The Tin Man.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
The whole thing was perfect.
That's a great scene for real.
Yeah, it really
like
is.
Legit great scene.
Like, there are a lot of perfect scenes. There really are.
Let's talk about Bridget Wilson, one of my all-time favorite '90s smoke shows. Did about four movies. Did 4 movies, and then she became my uncle's neighbor, and then married Pete Sampras. She did marry.
In that order.
Yeah, well, she married. I'm sorry, I take it back. She married Pete Sampras and then became my uncle's neighbor. Yeah, she's in the same. They're down in Tampa, or they were. I don't know if they still are, but they were. Austin O'Brien is the perfect mixture of annoying and passionate. By the way, did he ever resurface as an actor past 1999? Or my guess is what he's doing right now. He's running a fan boat tour down in the Everglades while smuggling crystal meth in alligators' corpses. That's my guess.
I honestly did not Google him because I did not want to see if he died.
He's alive. He's alive. Yeah. I looked it up. Weird relationship where Arnold picks up his daughter and throws her over his shoulder. This is something that Trump would do to Ivanka if he didn't have the body composition of someone who gnaws on turkey legs while piloting a rascal scooter throughout Disney World.
Yeah, Trump would need an actual shoulder to do that. Yeah, it's just neck and fat.
It's too much of a germaphobe to even have any contact with anyone like that.
Although he did Raw Dog Stormy Daniels and other smoke show.
That's true, actually.
Karen so-and-so.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah.
You know what makes you not afraid of germs? Pussy.
Nah.
Works every time.
It fell as a surprise. I pledged the fraternity, Phi Kappa Tau Epsilon chapter, Chi Chaos pledge class. Thank you. Last I checked.
No, we're not thanking you. No.
The sorority pledges did not have underage kids knocking the door to kiss them.
Yeah.
That is a
great point. That is a great point. I totally forgot about it until we rewatched it this weekend.
Yeah.
I did not understand any of that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen, kids. That doesn't fucking happen because they do other things like circle body fat on their pledges and make them cry. That's what sororities do.
Open up the door. He's like,
yeah.
I remember guys, his name's Skeezy.
Skeezy.
Skeezy when he's telling it to the cops.
Can you imagine how many takes it took for that kid to nail it intentionally, and B, the number of silver dollars that appeared in a cloud of his jeans every time he had to kiss Bridget Wilson?
It's very graphic.
Well,
are you
listen,
sure you're not one of them Hollywood pedophiles?
Also, what's frustrating for me, going back to my that thing you do reference about like the fake world on top of the real world, like her actor's name is Whitney, but that's not her name in real
No.
life. Like that is really frustrating for
Yeah,
my brain to handle.
yeah,
Like, I
you're
don't
right,
like
yeah.
that.
It's too
Have her
much.
be
No.
her real name, not
Yeah.
Whitney.
No,
Yeah.
it says it on the cutout of the Slater 4. It says, and introducing so and so, Whitney so and so
Yes.
as.
But it's not Bridget. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like, why didn't they just give her? Because like that whole aspect, he's really Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was it made my brain hurt.
That makes sense. Yeah.
The silliness gets ratcheted up when Slater pulls an electrical cord out from the lamp, sticks it in the corpse, who then, ironically and miraculously, shoots his associate henchman with perfect aim.
There's a lot of odd moments in that scene, just like that
Yeah.
are pretty funny.
And now Jack Slater decides to jump off roofs flipping around like Mary Lou goddamn Retton on PCP, parkouring off of balconies, and then, of course, dropping the key line, "I've got to catch the red eye." Oh, beautiful. That is Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
Schwarzenegger to a T. And again, I'm here for every second of that. And as you said, Bill Schulz, in a text me last night, Benedict is a solid goddamn villain.
So great.
Does not get his
So
due.
great.
Does not get his due.
Yes. Yes.
Good villain.
He ate up every best dialogue in the movie and ate up the goddamn camera.
But also not in a way like he was, I hate to say, like weird for a guy with a fake eye who's wearing a white suit. He's kind of subtle also at times, and like he's really good. And his frustration,
Yeah.
I bought every emotion he had in that movie because he just owns it.
Oh, and by the way, talk about legacy, gentlemen.
Anthony Quinn.
Scorsese stole from this movie. 3 words: Bill the Butcher. Look at this guy's eye. Bill the Butcher had the same trope in Gangs of New York many years later. This movie has a lot of footprints. And there's no way Scorsese was not aware of Last Action Hero. And there was a guy named Bill, his last name wasn't Cutting, that Bill the Butcher was based on.
William Poole, right?
But he didn't have a glass eye. He didn't have a glass eye that he changed all the time. No, Scorsese took that from Last Action Hero, my friends.
I can't wait till Bill Schulz gets a glass eye, because that'll provide much more entertainment for me with you on Morning Show.
I've already got a fake tooth.
I know that was my next joke, but all right, you beat me to it. That's fine. The ploy to get Schwarzenegger to say "fuck" is hilarious, especially with the PG-13.
I thought great!
I loved it. Loved it. Just think, during filming that film, Schwarzenegger was not banging Bridget Wilson, not banging 150 of those 9s or 10s extras in that film, but he was banging his nanny. That's what he was doing instead of really putting his penis where the platinum lie.
Was it? Wait, does the time line up? Is that when he impregnated her?
I don't know, but I like my version pretty fucking well.
All right.
Also, we don't know that he wasn't banging everybody else either. We don't know that, right?
That's true.
Very true. Very true. Actually, let me Google that right now. Schwarzenegger.
By the way, I think you are accurate because how old is the kid? Yeah, that makes sense.
He was 24. He was 24 in 2002, so that's 20. So he's 25 now. 25. Which puts this at 98. So no, after that. Damn it.
It was another maid. It was a maid that was on birth control that he was fucking at.
This one I didn't catch until my, this last rewatch. By the way, I owned it VHS, and I have it Blu-ray.
Good for you.
On digital. I didn't catch it until now, and I laughed my dick off. They armed the bomb on Leo the Fart by pulling his finger. How?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I caught that the first time.
I didn't get that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Didn't get that. Listen, if they put a bomb in Bill Schultz's corpse, they would have to yank the red Marlboro out of his cold, dead hand to arm that puppy.
That's a bumper sticker. I want that. Yeah,
now we're beyond silly, where Schwarzenegger drags Leo the Fart while the Italian mobsters have the aim of Italian stormtroopers. Not a single bullet. Nope. There you go.
Maybe Italy would have done a little better in World War II if they had the stormtroopers rather than Germany. But it's a history thing, guys. Sorry. Go ahead.
Schwarzenegger thinks that the real version of New York City is bad. Wait till he jumps to our current timeline where homeless bums beat off in the subways while yelling, "Like and subscribe."
So you.
Fair. It's a fantastic. I love when they bring Arnold's mom to Danny's mom. Sorry, Arnold to Danny's mom. I think that whole scene is pretty.
It's
fun.
delightful.
It
Delightful. Yeah.
Exhibit C in my 90s time capsule, where in the real world, he's walking by and witnesses someone getting shot and they yell, "Get his shoes." That was huge in the 90s for all you youngsters.
I completely forgot about that. So right. Yes. Yeah. That was, and yeah, that was great. Yeah.
And I'll say this film does start to drag 15 minutes or so in this, and here's what the problem is. You guys hit the nail on the head, and I didn't think of it, and this is why I'm going to knock my score down a little bit. They really fucked up the real world stuff, because what happens is they have an hour and 45 in movie land, and it's all great. Then they realize, oh shit, we're going to go way over 2 hours. We need to cut short the frivolity of him in New York with real world stuff, and didn't really take their time and could have cut more out of LA maybe, or movie world, I should say. And it just got rushed, but then it dragged at the same time. Yeah. If you can follow that kind of logic. I would love to borrow that movie ticket for myself, and I would love to jump into 2 films, Napoleon Dynamite, as well as actually 3. Napoleon Dynamite, Princess Bride, and Christmas Story. Bring all the cast into the real world. Strap suicide vest onto them. Put them on a rickety ass roller coaster at a church carnival and send them all to Allah. That's what would make me so happy. Those films are trash.
To be more of a dick, you might as well have just included the 2023 Chicago White Sox squad and add them to the mix. You dickhead.
I have another joke about them later on. Don't you worry.
Oh, God damn it.
This kid's, you're going to laugh, and I don't give a shit, listeners. I think this is one of the most perfect satirical films ever made. A lot of people love to say Idiocracy. Here's the difference between Idiocracy and this film. I laughed during this film. I did not laugh, and I turned off Idiocracy 2 different times. It is so heavy-handed, so boring. I find Mike Judge films terrible. See our live show, Office Space. I can't deal with it. We get it. People are fat and dumb and say dumb shit in the future. It's a perfect simile to what's going on right now. It stinks. This film nails every single Hollywood insider moment, action film trope, makes fun of itself and action films and Arnold. I ate this shit up as let me do the math. 16-year-old. I ate it up as a 22-year-old. I eat it up currently as a 46-year-old. That's the difference. There's so many different nods here. The Lethal Weapon quote in the music. Did you guys also catch the Acme Dynamite box in the back of the truck?
Yes.
It
was great.
Loved it.
I asked, as far as the real world thing is concerned, Alfred might have been right. So there is a Acme movie theater, but Alfred's maybe it's ACM. In the real world, New York,
I thought it was AMC, but we could have rewound it, but we didn't.
I thought that and maybe it was some sort of thing that they were telegraphing to us, but I thought I saw an Acme sign in real world New York, which would make it even more meta. What do you think about it?
If I remember, everything that was explosive had Acme on it somewhere.
Yep.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Warner Brothers cartoons all the way. Yeah.
Not even a question. In fact, he's watching a Looney Tunes on TV there, too, if you caught that. Yeah. Yes. I love that. Also, of course, where are all the hot people? Where are all the average-looking people here? Hilarious. Nails all
California.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. Look, I had to knock it down though. I love that point about the real world and how it just got skated over. This film is still solid. Yeah. I give it a 6.5. Very good. Definitely undeserving of all that. It's not an 8 good, Bill. Jesus Christ. That's way insane.
That was my fault. Yeah, maybe it's not 8. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just copy Alfred.
Yeah. I love it. This film, it passes the remote test. Alfred, the remote test, if you stumble upon it at any point on cable or wherever, at any junction of the film, do you drop the remote? Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, you do. Yes, Bill does. Yes, Delvin does. 6.5. Yes. Critics, 5-star reviews. Every action film trope is satirized. Every manly catchphrase is mocked. In the overuse of senseless violence and random explosions is parodied to no end. I am happy to say that not only does Last Action Hero hold up well almost 20 years later, it also remains one of the most underrated movie concepts of all time.
Without a doubt.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And what a wonderful universe they could have used. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Considered a dunderheaded big budget flop in its day, Last Action Hero looks considerably better now in its creative self-parody. My question, just for pausing for one hot second, do you think that this would have stood a better chance if they would have said, Jurassic Park, we know the book was a big thing. Why not wait till August to release this puppy?
That would have helped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. What a dumb idea to be like. It's the like forget about the pedophile aspect of Hollywood. It's that whose dick is bigger. And they saw that that's a big Jurassic Park dick. Fuck you. We got Last Action Hero over here.
You know what it was?
With you with that.
Arnold was just off T2, and there was like, oh please, T2.
Yes.
Arnold, exactly. There's no one gonna touch him. But then you go, listen, Spielberg was still batting like damn near 95% with his films. I mean, I think probably his last film before Jurassic Park, I think, top of my head, is Schindler's List.
Look,
were you sure?
Yeah,
I think Schindler's List was after that, my friend.
I think it was Hook because you and I were talking about Alfred.
Yes.
Like they thought that he had started to become a little soft, and so that they could compete with Jurassic Park because Hook didn't do as well as people thought it would.
Hook was terrible,
and
by the way.
that was part of their thinking.
Yeah, no,
it's an awful movie.
Hook's
It's awful
brutal.
movie, but
And I can sort of understand that logic, but also like it's Spielberg and a best-selling book. Don't ever mess with that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes.
Delvin. But then the other thing is like I think the marketing of the movie overplayed and this goes into sort of the ego of releasing it against the week after Jurassic Park, is that they overplayed the action hand and underplayed how funny the movie was because
Well said.
and I think
Yeah.
that if they waited and then played it up more that it is the comedy that it actually is, that would have been way more beneficial to the movie.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Hook was 91. And then Schindler's List was February of 94.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we were right.
Last Critics 5-star review, real fast. Let me bang this out. Smart but complicated. Arnold needs acting lessons. Are you kidding me? Were people saying that after T2, Terminator, Total Recall? Listen, okay.
That's kind of missing the point.
Maybe Batman and Robin I'll give you, but no, not at this point.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck about his acting lessons? Just shoot the fucking gun.
Also, by the way, he's good in this movie. Like
Yeah,
you
he
can
is.
say,
He's
like I understand if people
absolutely
hate this
great.
movie. His acting in this movie is maybe
Perfect.
the best acting he's actually done.
Without
it's really
a doubt. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
good. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Critics 1-star reviews. A bombastic, rhythmless mess. Just like the 2022 White Sox. There you go, Bill. That was a joke I had for you.
Why? Why?
Because you're here. Joyless, tasteless, and soulless, Last Action Hero can't decide if it's an actioner, a comedy, or a spoof. It's all three, dickheads,
Yeah.
and it does a great
Yeah,
job.
that's what makes it great.
Really would work if it ever really let audiences in what it was trying to accomplish. It did!
It did.
Spades!
By the way, literally.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bill. You had a thought. I want to hear about it.
Oh well, like the ad ad campaign didn't help it, as you kind of touched on earlier. I mean, they literally marketed it as the greatest action film ever made. That was like one of the taglines, or a variation thereof. When, to your point, it's a lot of things. It's not that, but it's a parody. It's satire. It's hilarious, but they didn't do themselves any favor. Like I think everyone involved in the movie did a great job, aside from the people that marketed the movie.
Well, here
They marketed it horribly.
I hate improv, but I'm going to yes and you. There had to have been at least one junior rep who got shushed in the meeting where he said, how can this be the world's greatest action movie if this thing is rated PG-13?
Yeah.
Right.
Without a doubt. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like-
which is also part of an ongoing joke in the movie.
Yep,
Like,
right.
come on. Yeah.
Next one, Austin O'Brien, the child actor equivalent of fingernails on a chalkboard.
Yes, I agree with that.
I don't think he's that bad.
I don't blame
He's
him.
not that bad.
No.
I don't like feathered hair. I don't like feathered hair in a kid. It's
His
very
voice
pedo.
gets very grating because it's basically the exact same register the entire time, and there's no dynamics at all. He's playing every scene almost the exact same, and I don't blame him for that. I just think they
Right.
thought he was precocious and super Hollywood, which doesn't fit.
Yeah. I hated him less than I remembered when we watched it again.
I didn't hate him.
I remember hating him more. Yeah.
Amazon
He was all right.
Amazon 5-star reviews. This movie was, as one critic put it, passed over by the crowd that went to see Arnold do the whole macho kick-ass thing, and that's it. But then it was passed over by the movie crowd that wants an interesting story and makes you think with their sci-fi experience because, well, Arnold was not known for that. So damn, this movie actually has it both. It has it all. Sci-fi experience. How about two little films called Terminator and Terminator 2?
Yeah.
The cheese.
By the way, an older male mentor robot to a young kid in Terminator 2. I am seeing a pattern here, boys. Seeing a pattern.
Also, Kindergarten Cop. He watches out for the kid whose dad is a vicious murderer.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, we're on to something. That pizza place is for real.
Here's our new. here's our new. But yeah, but here's the thing: none of us are trying to bang Penelope Ann Miller. That's the difference.
What happened to her? She had a great run and then nothing.
Carlitos.
She was in hit after hit.
Carlitos.
I thought the Shadow was underrated, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I like the Shadow. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. The cheesiest Schwarzenegger film since Commando, and still tons of fun, just like Commando. I prefer Commando, but this is still damn good.
This isn't cheesy.
I know.
Like
no.
it's God, I don't know.
It's entirely different.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Pokes fun at 80s and 90s action movie schmaltz, starring, in my opinion, one of the best action movie stars from that era. It's loud, cheesy, obnoxious, in the best ways possible. Awesome. Way to go on a limb, say it's one of the best action stars. How about it's one of the two only actions? Well, Seagal and Van Damme are late 80s if you want to throw them in the mix. Chuck Norris to a degree. You want to fight with that one? All right.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's okay. But what's besides Die Hard?
Remember,
And what, Bill?
Hudson Hawk.
I think it more action in Blind Date.
I remember Van Damme had a cameo in it with an awesome mullet. If I recall.
In Last Action Hero,
Yep. Amazon 1-star reviews. Arnold Schwarzenegger has made some good movies. He's also made some real stinkers. This one is one of his worst. Signed, Joel Schumacher, director of Batman and Robin. I've walked out of only 5 movies in an actual theater. Born in East LA, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Valentine, and The Last Action Hero. Even though I have not changed my opinions about the former films, I thought I'd give Last Action Hero one more try. I was unfortunate enough to find a DVD copy in the horrid and worthless pan and scan format, albeit it was only $1. Turned it off after 2 minutes in. I have ADD too. I've never shut a movie off after 2 minutes, you lying piece of shit. That didn't happen.
Also, The Vampire Slayer is underrated. That's a good movie.
It's all
another
right.
movie that's sort of satirical.
Yeah. Friday the 13th Part 8.
Why do all of these reviews think that we want their backstory? Yeah. Earlier in the day, I was shopping at
Have you seen the internet?
Yeah.
This is where Kevin Israel laughs at people when they announce what price they pay to watch it, and then to say they either went back for a refund or B, threw it in the trash, which neither have happened.
Correct.
Come on, next one. Come on now. This is clearly the worst Schwarzenegger movie of all time. This made his performance in Conan the Barbarian look like he was a classic Shakespearean actor in comparison. This movie was so bad that our church youth group wanted to leave early on a mission trip where they would have to sleep on a church floor when they left the theater. Guys, to me, being a church youth group sounds worse than watching Batman and Robin.
I agree.
I actually go to most of my movie selections to my church youth group, as far as their selections are concerned.
I was going to say, with your church youth group, that's going to be pretty odd being that you're on Megan's Law list, so it's kind of contradictory.
It goes back to our theme.
Maybe the church group thought it was a little too close to home with Austin O'Brien's relationship with the movie projectionist.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger tussing his hair, going, "You cute little scamp," and then them having flashbacks to their altar, their priest doing that to them. And putting confession oil in bad areas. Never mind. The only saving grace, if you call that, is Last Action Hero's Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance. His non-acting is just as good in the movie as is in the Terminator or True Lies. If the only good thing about your movie is Schwarzenegger's acting, then your movie is in serious trouble. Signed, Tommy Wiseau.
Do it, have a catch.
Hello, Mark. The jokes are not fun.
I can do it.
The jokes are not funny, and yet you get the feeling that people responsible for this cinematic atrocity are sending out a subliminal message that translates to, that skit was pretty cool, huh? The action sequences intended to be absurd only elicit yawning. The child, who is intended to be cute, is annoying.
Yeah, not good.
That's
Not arguing
fair.
with that. Yeah.
If you're a Schwarzenegger maniac, go ahead and pick it up. But if you're looking for that movie within a movie, quote unquote, premise, skip this and check out Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Wow. I don't know how to respond to that.
We
Signed
are
is
reaching.
not Wes Craven.
Yeah. Yeah. Signed Heather Langenkamp. Yeah. Hard pass on that one. Well, this is the part where I asked Delvin Cox if they got the sacred cow, but it sounds like we're all in perfect unison that we all love this film. Oh,
We fooled you.
gotcha, bitches. Bill and Alfred Schulz, it's been a pleasure. Delvin Cox,
Thanks
my
for having us,
co-host.
buddy.
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, I love the idea. And wowie zowie, we went pretty long on this one. So, kids, this is going to break our other Bill Schulz one.
By the way, I'm hearing Kevin's brain right now. He's like, how much do I have to edit? How much do I have to edit? How much do I have to edit? Yeah, that's exactly what I have.
I gotta trim a bit down here, but listen, it's always a marathon, but always a marathon of laughs. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on Gutting the Sacred Cow. We will see you all later. Avita Zen.